So when Josh wants to address camera, which camera can he address for our YouTube?
Which middle one, right? Between those three.
The middle one? Okay. So if
right.
you want to just, if you want to answer a question to somebody or...
We're good.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for the Ask Junior. We're going to call this the Ask Josh part of the show because Josh Berry's here with us. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. We know you guys are the hardcore supporters of the podcast and the Dale Junior Download and Dirty Mo Media. Thanks to Xfinity for supporting this part of our podcast. And the Xfinity winner from Martinsville is here. So Leah has the questions ready. We've been gathering questions throughout the past several hours since we announced Josh was going to be a part of the show. So let's get them, Leah.
All right, our first question is coming from Dan Kerrigan. He says, congratulations, Josh. Was it more reassuring to see your teammate behind you those last laps, or were you worried that someone would decide it was time to pay back Noah and cause a restart?
I felt pretty good racing around Noah, honestly. Me and him have developed a pretty good friendship. And, honestly, in that moment, I felt like he would take care of me. He was racing for the Dash for Cash deal. He had his own kind of race going on there. So I felt good having him behind me.
This is from Matt Roth, and it's for both of you. Can you talk about the phone call, Dale to Josh, and what you guys talked about?
Well, I felt bad that I wasn't there. NASCAR has a policy where only one owner from the team can go, and Kelly and LW went Friday, and they said, I had something going on Friday. I was working on the house, and I said, y'all go to the race. I want to go to Dega. And so they went, but then it rained out, and they didn't tell me they didn't go back. They had something else going on with Wyatt Racing. So I'm texting Kelly, and I found out they weren't at the track, and I was like, dang. But when he won, I shot a text to you,
Yeah.
and I said, hey, man, can you get me on the phone with him somehow? So Pemberton was standing there, but I was still broken down a little bit when we had our conversation. I was like,
I could describe you as emotional. I could tell that. So whenever we sat down afterwards, and you said that you had cried, I said, yeah, I thought you had. Had been. He was a little choked up. But it was a great moment.
Awesome.
Sounded like Chewbacca on the other line, right?
And I was crying, and Dale's texting me, I need to talk to Josh. And I'm like, I can't even deal with this either.
Yeah.
Like,
Leah had
honestly,
a great video.
honestly. So it's funny that she says that because probably the most emotional I got was watching her video because you just never we know each other a little bit, right? But you just never imagine that you're going to have that kind of effect on somebody, just what you're doing, for Taylor. Because I know that, it meant a lot to me and all of us, but I know how Taylor had been working. And for her to show her emotion for how excited she was for Taylor, that was a great moment. Yeah. And honestly, shed a few tears watching that one.
Yeah, I told Leah that we sounded identical in those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to be. Rick always gets on the phone with the driver in Victory Lane, and I'm like, that's so cool, man, to be able to talk to him. So I was lucky that I got to talk to Josh in that moment because I wanted to hear, what you were feeling. So it was great.
All right, our next question coming from Josh Denton. Hickory Motor Speedway, who wins between Josh and Junior in a late model?
Oh, that's easy, me, for sure.
Josh has this. I know Josh wins everywhere he goes, but he has something special that I don't know anybody right now. I don't know any driver that has what Josh has at Hickory. It's just you found a tint there that isn't obvious to most racers, and I don't know. Maybe you can describe it.
I don't know. Ever since the first time I took laps around that place, it just came to me. I don't know. Just you got to be really patient with just getting the car turned and coming straight off the corner, and just how you maneuver the car in there to get to that point. I just, I've just always. It's got me in trouble almost at times because I've been so good there that sometimes I don't. It's hard to figure out how to make my car better, really, because I'm always like, really, whether my car is good or bad, or not bad, but when my car is very, very good versus when it's all right, most of the time I'm always in the top 5 or top 3. So it's been a great place for me. I think I don't know if this is official, but I'm 3rd now in all-time wins there. Behind 2 behind Dennis Setzer is my next one. So
really,
yeah.
Yeah, it's Dennis Esser and Max Presswood.
Yep.
Yeah, two legends.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, you put yourself on that list. That just tells you right there. And they ran, Max ran Hickory for a really long time, but special place.
As a follow up to that, what about Myrtle Beach? Think you could give him a run for his money there?
You're pretty patient at saving the tires. We need a long race. You'd be good.
Yeah.
You'd be there. You'd be good at that.
Yeah, it might have a better chance there for sure than Hickory.
Anything can happen at Myrtle Beach. That's
Yeah.
what I've learned to love about that. Like even when you're that's what you see in these races, and I saw a little bit that of the dirt race at Bristol. Like when there's that much tire fall off, it opens the door for a lot. I mean, you saw Stenhouse how good he was at the end of that race. I mean, I feel like he had managed his tires and he made a push at the end and was there. Anything can happen at those places when there's that much tire wear.
Next question coming from Lee Landisauer. Hi, Josh. Did your wife end up getting a Tahoe after leading every lap and winning with the late model? And if yes, what is she going to get with this one?
Well, so yes. And I honestly haven't made a lot of light about this because I hadn't go about it, but Dale hooked us up. So I was at a weird point that I was very excited for it. She's been very excited for it, and we use it all the time with the little girl. But at the same time, I wasn't sure how to go about it. But because but it was a gift, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, we haven't really thought about it. We'll have to see. I mean, that kind of stuff kind of happens organically or
Right.
naturally, really. We don't plan it, but maybe you never know.
All right, our next question comes from Charles Payne. As for Josh, how do you prepare for the wide range of racetracks that you experience in the Xfinity Series?
I've been doing a couple different things really this year. I've been part of Chevrolet's development deal with Josh Wise and Scott Speed, so we've been experienced some of the things there. They just go over a ton of data, just restart data and analytics and stuff about how the race will play out, and then really you have that and just time on the simulator or iRacing. And really, that's kind of it. I mean, you kind of watch the races back, try to prepare yourself. But it's a fine line that I'm trying to learn what works for me. Because sometimes the conditions and everything could be so different, you can almost over prepare in a way and get a kind of. So it's like Martinsville. That was more. I watched the race back, just kind of naturally went into it like I would any other race. But some of these bigger tracks, you gotta work for it for sure.
I'm curious to know how you feel about the manufacturer simulator. So when I was racing cars, a lot of guys didn't really spend much time with it. You're going to get practice. You're going to go out there and race and figure it out on the track. But now that there is no practice, it's certainly become a tool that a lot more guys want to utilize. Certainly a lot of young drivers just use that thing up. Mm-hmm. You come in sort of in the middle of that. You got a veteran mindset. You're definitely don't have a ton of experience in the cars or on some of these tracks. So we talked earlier when you just started racing at Daytona and so forth, you were clawing to get any time in the simulator at the start of this season. Now where are you?
Kind of middle of the ways there. I still think it's definitely a valuable tool to use. It's just kind of like anything, and you know this from sim racing, like the holy grail is the tires, right? Like getting the tires feel right, getting the right amount of grip in the tires and the track, and that's what the constant battle with that is, just trying to figure that and get that right. You just got to be careful, I think, that your speeds are close, and I mean it's tough for these guys. I mean they're kind of guessing too. You're guessing off the setups of the car and the conditions of what to expect, and that there's been a couple of times where we ended up going a little too fast in the sim versus what it felt like when we got there. But at the end of the day, the environment's the same. We've done some cool things with ghost cars and stuff like that to kind of experience the negative effects of dirty air. And I mean, it's been a good tool for me to use.
Nice.
All right, our next question coming from Ryan Kennedy. And you guys can both answer this if you have an answer for it. After seeing the Rick Ware drivers this weekend, I want to know what was the maddest you've ever been at a teammate. They were all mad at each other on Sunday.
So mine would be Christian Eckes and me were coming to. I was leading the Myrtle Beach 400, yeah, and he just kind of ran me in the fence for the win. But at the time, I was pretty mad, and that was an interesting point in my career. Like I had won a lot of races, but the crown jewel events were something that I hadn't had a lot of success in. So that was the closest that I'd been to winning one. But he had a tough season, had a lot of misfortune, and hadn't won, and that was his day. So that was probably the maddest. I got over it over time. We went back the very next year and won it, and that was a big deal for us.
I'd have to think about it. I've had a lot of teammates, and I've had a lot of discussions with them. But Mark Martin ran me in the fence off turn 2 at Michigan one race. I was pretty mad about that, but kind of same thing, last lap or something, and just used up more racetrack than that was there, and squeezed me in the fence, and that kind of stuff really annoys you because I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't just have throttled up and been like, "Eh, screw it." He'll get over it. But
there had to have been a Jeff Gordon moment in there somewhere. I don't know. I can't think of it.
You could
but
probably
can't either.
find radioactive or something somewhere. I'm sure there's something.
I remember the radioactive on that Mark Martin deal.
I always knew that I was going to have to see him a lot and try not to
It's true.
get too tore up about it.
All right, we got time for one more.
One more.
All right, one more question. This is for you, Dale, from Jeremy Talent. Rumors are circulating that you and Kelly have been talking about starting a cup team. Any truth to this?
Well, we just basically all that me and Kelly have done is said with the new car coming, and I think that everyone is doing this, not just us, but like with the new car coming, does it make more sense, right, for us to go into the Cup Series if we were ever going to go? Is this the time to do it? I think if they weren't bringing in the new car, it'd be status quo. We probably wouldn't consider it, wouldn't have any interest in it. We got a great business model financially. We know how to do what we're doing. And we definitely don't want to upset that and put any of our employees' livelihoods in danger or at risk with taking a big risk. So, but we have to ask ourselves with the new car coming in is if there's ever a time to make that transition, maybe this could be it. So we just have to explore what that means financially. It's highly, highly unlikely because it's just such a commitment. We're going to need a lot more support in terms of cash to make that investment for the cars and everything else, all the technology that comes with it. So it's hard to change this too, right? We have what behind this glass, on the other side of this glass, man, is it's a smooth working machine. We just won 2 races in a row, and we've got this figured out, and we're successful here. And it's hard to. Why would you want to change that? It's doing so well, and you enjoy it. And plus, we're right in the middle of this quest to figure out how to get Josh in a car full time. We're right on the cusp of really creating that as a reality. So that's where like all the energy is right now, is like keeping 4 cars on the track at the Xfinity level and trying to figure out what we can do with Josh and keeping the rest of our drivers happy and in victory lane.
All right, guys, that's it for today.
All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Some great questions. Thanks, Josh, for joining us for the Ask Josh, presented to you by Xfinity, premier partner for NASCAR. Thank you, guys. Again, have a great week. And, the show should be out later. What time is the let's tell them about the TV show.
5:30 Thursday?
5:30. Yep. 5:30 Thursday, the TV show Josh Berry on NBC SN.